And saying that, one of my buddies, I think it's about time to bring Chris on. Christian on. What's I keep calling it Chris.
Yo, what's
What's
up?
up, brother? How are you, man?
How's it going, y'all? Yeah, I'm
It's
going good.
going well. Everything good with you, brother?
Oh yeah, I'm gearing up tonight to hit the water, and I'm glad to chat with y'all before I get out there.
We appreciate it, man. We know you're a busy man. We'll won't take up too much of your time, but just wanted to talk a little bit with you. Tell everybody kind of where you grew up and like kind of how where you grew up shaped your music and all of that.
Yeah, so I grew up in what they consider Ponchatoula, but it's actually Bedico, and most people don't even know that that place even exists. I remember even growing up in high school and telling people, "Yeah, I live out on the Bedico side of town." And they're like, "What is Bedico?" They ain't never even heard of that before. So yeah, me being out there, we had a pretty good music scene going on out there. One of the well-known artists, Todd O'Neill,
Todd
was
O'Neill,
very
that's
big
right.
in that area. So
Mhm.
Todd helped very early on in my music career to kind of be like a mentor to me in a lot of ways, and he took me kind of under his wing early on and kind of showed me the ropes, if you will, of the live music world. Because as you know, he's played a ton of shows. The dude's a very busy man. You know, even
One of
played
the
with the
best singers out there too.
oh
He's an
man,
amazing singer.
yeah, an incredible singer. So he kind of, took me to a lot of the shows that he played all over the state, and he would get me up on stage and help me get a name for myself and help me get a lot of gigs early on. And I went around to a lot of gigs just showing up with my guitar, asking them if I could play there, and I was like, I'll play you a few songs, and I got a lot of gigs that way. And Todd's actually the big reason that I end up here in Nashville is because he was making trips here, coming out here and writing. And he told me, he was like, "Man, you wanna come out here to some of these Nashville trips with me and come check it out?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, let's go see what it's all about." And man, when I came up here, I absolutely fell in love with it.
It's a whole different world, isn't it?
Oh man, it's just
Man,
the
go
what's
ahead.
that?
I
No,
was
you
I
go.
was going to say that I met Todd years and years and years ago. Probably, man, it's probably been 15, 20 years now, to be honest. And through my buddy David Saint Romain, they
Right.
used to both tear up the circuit back in the day, and they still are. They're still doing awesome.
Oh
And
yeah,
but I thought those two guys, like, I was like, man, these guys, all these artists, everybody can sing like really well. And then I didn't realize how talented they both were. And I was like, oh my goodness, these guys,
oh yeah,
both of them.
yeah.
I mean, that was two of my first singers that I was ever really around,
Oh
and
yeah, man.
two amazing voices.
Incredible. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, he helped me a ton. And when I got out here, um it was, this was a totally different town when I first got here, man. It was just a handful of bars down there really that was open. And a lot of the stuff was just vacant buildings. And man, in the past 10 years, Nashville has just exploded. It's insane. I feel like I was lucky to get there when I got there to experience kind of well, it was like a really tight knit family way back then, because there was only a limited amount of bands and a limited amount of musicians that even played down there.
Mhm.
And so it was a really tight knit family then. And I mean, it was Nashville, like, grew at the same pace as the amount of bars that opened. It felt like because you always think as it got as more bars would open, you were like, I mean, it can't get busier than it did last year for all this stuff to open, right? And then it just continuously does so over and over and over.
Man, I know exactly what you're talking about. And another thing is there wasn't as many bars, and then they were the ones that were there were like one, maybe two stories. Now there's
Yeah.
everything is a bar, and they're all like 4 or 5 stories, and they
Oh
all
yeah.
have a rooftop. I
Oh
remember when there
yeah.
was like one rooftop in town.
Yeah, that's something that I always remember, is that I was here for the great Nashville rooftop conversion. It
You're
was
right.
like, as soon as they realized that people wanted to be on the roofs, everybody started slapping a rooftop on their bar, and you just watched them one by one. Bars that didn't have a rooftop will all of a sudden have a rooftop.
Unbelievable, man. Let's talk, just because I know there's some guys in Louisiana that's going to watch this. We put it out after we do it live, and there'll be a lot of people watching it. And tell people that don't know, what's it like to play on Broadway? What's that experience like? Kind of the pros and the cons, if you don't mind getting into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's a very fast paced kind of gig style, which a lot of people, when they come out here, move to Nashville from all over the place, they're not used to those types of gigs. Now, like I said, me growing in my performance around Todd O'Neill and those guys, they run. I mean, and like the Chiwis that they played with as well. Like, these are, man, Louisiana's got some really, really pro bands, and when you spend enough time around them, you start realizing that's the best way to run a show in general. So I at least had a little crash course in that already, and our bands, because I remember there was venues back in Louisiana that would tell you, well, this is the deal. We could either have you guys take a break in the middle of the set, or you could just play straight through and end early. And I would always say, well, let's just play straight through, because you don't want to take a break. I mean, everybody might be like, oh, well, maybe we should go do something else.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a very fast-paced, same type of thing on Broadway. And, man, it's like you got to be pretty much an encyclopedia of songs, I always say, the more songs the better the show that you can put on for people, and the more people will like you too, because if they're able to request their favorite song from you and you can nail it, then like it's you instantly have a connection with that person. They're instantly a fan after that, and they might start requesting songs from you all night, and then just become a big fan of you and come see you from then on out. But the downsides of it is obviously that it can be some late nights. I used to play when I first got here. I played all the late night gigs, all the late nights, and picked up as many gigs as I possibly could, and it's very heavily tip based on your income. So that's why I say, as many songs as you can learn, then you'll be doing a lot better. That's for sure.
No doubt, man. Alex is asking in the chat over here, how do you balance Broadway from any type of original music you might want to be doing and all that kind of stuff?
So that was a hard thing for me when I first got to town, is that it was so exhausting because I was picking up so many gigs. And nowadays, because we've been here for a while and we've kind of made ourselves a name for a while, we are able to pick up some better slotted gigs and everything. And that way I don't have to work as quite as much anymore. And I try to not overload myself, because it's very tempting to go down there to just make a ton of money, because there's some people down here that will play, especially just guitar players, but even singers will pick up doubles, triples sometimes, where they're playing 3 gigs in a row. And I mean, that's a lot. Like 8 hours or more of singing is
another Louisiana guy, my buddy Carl Boudreaux, plays a lot of drums down on Broadway, and when I'm in town, I'm like, where you at? And he'll give me a schedule, and it'll be sometimes 3 different places in a day. And I'm like, man, killing stuff, Carl.
Oh yeah. My friends, a lot of my friends do that. And like I told him, I was like, well, now that's my main thing, is that you take enough time so that you're not overloaded. You go down there, you make enough money where you can get by, but you got to look at the bigger picture, because that little short-term money is nice to be able to go down there and make you a little extra cash or whatever for rent or whatever. But you really got to make sure that you're focusing on your music career. Make sure you're setting up enough rights with everybody, and going to writers' rounds and things like that around town to meet other writers. And because you could show up, as you've been to a lot of writers' rounds, you could show up and see somebody you've never even heard of before, and they're just perfect match with what you're into.
Yeah, we got to get you into our next writers' round whenever when we're up in Nashville. Last time I think you were in Switzerland. How did that go? You went and played a little bit over there, right?
Yeah, it's so awesome. That was actually my second time going there. And man, everybody out there in Switzerland, you wouldn't believe how much country music they know out there. They will sing it and know more words than most American crowds, I'm telling you. And they'll request like tons of crazy B-side, because we'll we'll go out there and we'll do a band gig and an acoustic gig, which is really fun because during the acoustic gig, they just come up with all kinds of songs. You're like, man, y'all know that? And then everybody in the crowd singing along, and man, they're just the coolest people. So they actually, it's a group of guys that one of the guys owns the bar out there, and it's actually an American themed bar. And it's like themed as like an American sports bar, like Nashville sports bar kind of thing. And they have like Titans jerseys and Preds jerseys up on the wall. And man, that's what I told people, if they would knock you out and or you drank too much on Broadway and then you woke up at that bar, you would think you was just at another Broadway bar till you walked outside.
Yeah. So I want to get into fishing for a second before I get you out of here, which I think that's where you're about to go in a few minutes. So,
oh yeah.
But would you is there any advice if there's any young guys in Louisiana right now kind of on the fence about it and all of that? I think you've already given them a little bit of advice, but is there anything that you would say to them?
Yeah, man, honestly, I would tell you to definitely come check it out. Get out here. Make sure you make a few trips. I mean, I didn't make the choice immediately on my first trip coming down here, or up here rather. Everybody always says down here whenever you're out here, because most of the people that come out here, this is far south as they've ever been. But so yeah, I would say come check it out. Make sure you talk to as many people as you can. Especially if you know any other Louisiana artists, reach out to some other. That was one thing I did when I first came out here. I found other Louisiana artists, like CJ was one of them that I met and talked to very early on, and I met a few others that were playing on Broadway and talked to them about it. And man, they were all like, "Yeah, we'll help you out. We'll tell you what you need to do to get down here." So like, definitely. Especially if that's what you want to do as full time, like Nashville is one of the best places to be for it, man. It's just the best hub for all things music related, I think.
Yeah, I tell people, man, it's you can do a lot online these days, and man, you could write every day next week online and all of that. But there's something about being in the city, and there's something about that networking that you do when you're not in the writer's room. You never know who you're gonna run across. Like you said, you might see somebody playing. It's like, man, this guy sounds great. He sounds just like what I've been writing. Let's see if we can hook up.
Yeah,
so you gotta be out there.
From everywhere, man. It could be people from all over the country they might have experiences that perfectly line up with you, and it's just it's much harder when you're spread out from those people to just get together on any random day and make it happen.
Yeah, and then you can't compare yourself up there because everybody's pretty good. You just got to do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. You just got to do your thing. That's the thing. Is somebody told me that very early on that was another mentor to me, Stacy Cato. I don't know if you've ever met him.
I don't know.
You know Katie Austin?
That name sounds familiar to me.
Okay, I'll definitely have to introduce y'all for sure. So she's from Louisiana. She's from Ponchatoula as well.
Okay.
And that's her husband, and he worked for CMT for many, many years. And he told me that when I first got to town, one of his biggest things of advice that he was like, don't try to sound or try to be like anybody else. The best thing that you can do is carve out something for yourself. And he's like, because a lot of people come to town and they say, I want to be the next Jason Aldean, or I want to be the next Carrie Underwood. He said, well, have you called any of them and asked them if that was okay? Because they're already doing a pretty good job being themselves. So you might want to just try to be yourself, So he always told me that. Make sure you carve out your own path. Don't be afraid to be yourself.
Well, man, I'll tell you this before we get into fishing and wrap the music up with this, but I try to stop in to friends whenever I'm in town. I always shoot you a message. Y'all playing? And if there's any way I can get down there, I always try to come in and pop my head in. And I have to give it to you, man. Like the first time I popped in there, I didn't realize that I didn't even know that you were playing. And I told Melissa, I was like, I know that guy. And she was like, well, what's he play? What's he sing? When I was like, no, I know that guy from Louisiana. And you were rocking, dude. I mean, you and the band and Sarah was up there with you, and you guys are crushing it, man. And like you said, people were yelling stuff, and and those requests come with $10-$20 bills sometimes.
Yeah.
So you're doing an awesome job. You've become a really good entertainer, and you guys are doing something special.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Speaking of having fun, let's move into the fishing thing, man. I remember you telling me, I lose track of time, maybe a year ago, you were talking about starting your brand and starting a YouTube channel and all of that. And I see it a pretty good bit now. So what's up with it?
Oh yeah, man. It's actually been going really well. So I never even thought that so I always had the idea that I wanted to have my own outdoor brand. I mean, growing up in the sticks, and my dad is a big time outdoorsman, huge deer hunter and huge fisherman. Like, we were always out there on the flatboat all the time, just tearing it up. And so it's always been something that I always loved. Like, me and him would spray our own camos and things like that on the flatboats and everything, and on our hunting sheds and stuff. So I always had a good time doing stuff like that. And I always thought, man, I'd love to design my own stuff. So that's my hat I'm wearing right now is actually one of my own camo designs that I did. And
cool,
so I started that brand, and man, I just started like posting little clips of my fishing, because I was like, I should post some of it onto my brand stuff. And then more people were saying that they really liked watching the videos and they wanted to see more full-length stuff. So I said, well, I figure I can do that. So why not just upload some of it? And man, it's just been, sometimes it just takes off like just crazy. Like, my stuff now, I'm over 1,000 subscribers now on my channel.
Yeah.
Like
77 videos.
Yeah, man. Well, and the thing is, I've been out there now. It's pushed me to explore more of Tennessee, Middle Tennessee, and I've just been seeing some of the craziest sights because of it, and catching some of the most insane trophy fish that, like, you wouldn't even believe the stuff that I've caught out here, man.
They didn't turn the South Louisiana boy loose up on the lakes of Tennessee. They don't know what they've done.
That's what I told them. Everybody, they got all the gar out here, and I was throwing them in the boat, and I was like, I'll take this home. They're like, you eat gar? And I'm like, yeah, man, we make gar balls down there.
That's right. Well, before I get you out of here, man, tell everybody how they can find your music, and then how they can find your fishing brand and everything.
Yeah. So my Instagram and my YouTube and all that's just at the Christian Lee. Just simple, just my name with the in front of it. Okay. At the Christian Lee on all that. And my music on Spotify, you can find, or Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, all that. Christian Lee. My biggest single out right now is Voodoo Lady, which is, a Louisiana theme song inspired by Marie Laveau, the story about that. So, definitely go check that out right now.
Really cool tune.
Yeah, well, thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, man, we appreciate you being here. Appreciate you coming on. I'll be back up in Nashville, not next week, but the next, and I'll hit you up whenever we're up there and try to get by and visit with you a little bit. But like I said, some of the socials coming up and some of the write-arounds that we have scheduled and all that, we'll have to, as we get them scheduled, we'll have to stay in touch with you.
Absolutely, man. Love to do that.
Well, man, I definitely appreciate it. I'm gonna get you out of here and wrap up the show, but I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. See y'all.
All right, brother. All right. We definitely appreciate Christian for joining us this evening. He's if you're ever down on Broadway, go by Friends in Low Places, Garth's bar, and him and his band are in there a lot. And you can ask the door guys when they're going to play and all that if they're not playing. But catch their show. It's really fun. They really do a great job. Again, make sure to like, follow, share, comment. Help us let everybody know what Louisiana country music is all about, and all of these awesome things that all these different people are doing in the world of country music that are from Louisiana. We're all spread out, but we're getting closer and closer every month. We're all coming together and working together, and we're going to have a movement like Texas is seeing and like Georgia's seeing and all that. And it's going to happen in Louisiana, and it's happening in Louisiana. So help us keep doing that. Follow the artists, like their stuff, help them out. Check out our website. Again, if there's something missing that somebody we're missing, let us know. Last thing, just remember to tune in every Tuesday night at 7:00. Chat with us, chat with the artists, ask them questions. Thanks for tuning in out there. God bless everybody, and we'll see you next week.